analyst desk, so take it away.
Thank you so much, guys. Indeed, bringing it Team Ice and 200 points in the bank for them. On top, that brings them to 875, but a very interesting game. Honestly, very exciting. Let's start by talking about the picks and the bans. A lot of power picks coming out. In the beginning, you said, ooh, the Trundle, I would have loved to see it top, but it would have been a bad matchup in the end.
Yeah, I mean, that was the very first comment, and then we realized Karma was picked as a flex pick very early. Either go support for PYL, he's played some of the AP champions before, or of course take a top lane with Frost Queen's Claim. We know how strong it is. As soon as they saw Quinn, you put that one top, you take the Trundle for support then instead. I know you have some experience with Trundle support, maybe if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, Trundle support in general is pretty strong into melee supports, such as Braum, because if Braum was ever to make an aggressive play, it could just put the pillar behind Braum and in between the AD. Therefore, the Braum would just be in a bad spot and the AD wouldn't be able to help him out. And that's something we ourselves actually used in the late summer split. Yeah. So it was quite interesting to see, and I actually think they played that the other day as well, PYL.
We've seen it before, at least, this tournament.
Yeah, I think so. So it was quite interesting to see that together with Kalista, which is already a really strong laner. So like similar to yesterday, the Team Ice once again had a really strong bot lane matchup.
And we did see that Team Fire targeted Amazing in that, and he ended up getting the Kindred, and the first pick at least was picked away for the enemy team. We have some B-roll to show his early game movements, because we had a lot of positive and some negative points about it, Niels.
The main thing is his marks. He ganked mid level 3, as see here, and he got another kill, a faker later. He got 2 kills in 5 minutes, and he didn't even get 1 stack of those ganks, because he didn't mark the guys before he ganked. And also, this dive bot was... He marked Tristana too late, so the mark didn't actually apply. So he had 3 stacks at 25 minutes. He actually had 3 stacks.
He didn't even need the mark, apparently.
Yeah, no, I mean, he had such a good early game, and it's what we've seen from Amazing now, all tournament long, honestly. This team as well, communication, we don't really know how well it was going to be, because we don't know with Uzi, how is he going to communicate with the rest of the team. It's on Koro, obviously he's maybe used to speaking League of Legends English, some of the Towers and Dragons and so on, but it was probably hard to coordinate where he should go, but still Amazing should know, okay, I'm going bot lane, there's a high chance I can get a kill, switch the mark over. Maybe he was just having a little bit of fun, showing he didn't need it, I'm not sure.
Still a lot of cool early game moves, and I especially love that we saw in the mid lane, we saw a Lux versus Brand matchup in Faker versus Froggen. Initial thoughts, amazing, but we did see later on that it was hard for either team to engage. We have some B-roll of the final team fight, and that was kind of the problem in the later stages of the game, Reckless.
Yeah, I mean, neither team really does have engage, and I think the biggest issue for Team Fire is that Queen and Elise really want spread out team fights, meanwhile Brand and Braum wants close, tight corner team fights. So I feel like Team Ice had a huge advantage in the draft, or the team comp themselves, because they all wanted to play pretty much the same way. They wanted to stick as 5, and they had the engage with the Kalista ult. So they were able to pretty much control the tempo of the team fights, I would say. Meanwhile, Team 5 were more the ones who had to react. So I feel like Team Ice in general just had the control of the team fights.
And also, if you look at Brand, Tristana, and so on, they wanted team fights started. Lux and Karma can sit back, further back, try and land some poke, obviously play around cooldowns. And when there's no engage against you, the fairly high cooldowns of a Lux doesn't really matter too much. Also, 45% CDR is really strong on it right now. So Froggen basically could just do whatever he wanted and wait for one binding to land, and then they could use it to engage. Throw in PYL, who is obviously fairly tanky in the end.
Yeah, when you play Brand, Tristana, you want to have this fight where fight is started for you. You know, you wait for other tanks to engage or something to land, and then you can go in and do your stuff like your AoE, your ult attacks. But when you're playing against something that has more range than you, you're just waiting to get binded yourself, and then you just lose before you even get a fight. So every time there was a fight, it was Ice that got a binding or a pillar, something that set up a fight. It was never Team Fire that set up the fight to start. So.
Finally, before we move on, maybe I know you guys were discussing a lot about the AD carry item builds, both Tristana and Kalista, both avid Kalista and Tristana players. What was the issue or the non-issue?
I don't know if Double forgot that they're playing on 523, because the fact that the Fire Cannon and Static Shift stacks, the passives, is one of the most OP things that the AD carries have had for the last 2 patches. So I'm not quite sure if he just forgot that, because in 524 they removed it, but I was surprised to see not him using that to his favor, because as you said before, there was no real engage on either team actually, so he could have just walked out mid and used the Fire Cannon passive to his advantage, but that didn't really necessarily happen. And then at the same time, Uzi ended up going Last Whisper against a team with pretty much no armor. So yeah, I was quite surprised to see the AD carry builds not being optimized, but nevertheless it was also fun to see the Hurricane coming out.
Yeah, and going Hurricane against a team with only one melee champ that's a Trundle support is not really efficient. So he didn't really get anything out of the Hurricane at all because they had like a Karma, Lux, Kindred kind of still team comp. So you never get a bolt off of anyone's.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool to see on the creeps.
Yeah, so having that long range shift and fire cannon stack is really good for like having this poke kind of style. So yeah.
Yeah, some minor mistakes there, but in the end, it was Team Ice that took it away. And with that win, they have added 200 points to their score, regaining the lead over Team Fire. That doesn't mean the end win because there will be 300 points awarded for the best of 3 coming up between the LCK and the EULCS team. But it does mean that we won't be getting a tie, sadly, Niels. Sad times. We won't see you playing.
I'm sure he will coach us to our win anyways in the upcoming best of 3.
Well, I mean, it's looking
Great
good.
advanced strategies.
It's looking good. Only 2 members that played now, and they got the victory versus that mixed squad. As a reminder, the voting for 2015's Play of the Year is still open as well, so tweet at LPL Esports with your pick, and we'll count up the results later today. And for another look at those nominees, check out the LOL Esports Twitter account because they're all there as well. So with that, we are going to take a quick break as the representatives from the LCK and the European LCS gear up because he has to move over to fight for the win here at the 2015 All-Star event. It all comes down to this, so stay with us.
Don't disappoint us.
I won't.
Hey ref, are we allowed to have Google Translate open? You're such a troll.
He is in some trouble, Falch, but he's got a whole lot of spears in him. And Amazing is around the side, says thank you very much.
There's still a flash on Frog, and he can bail if he wants to.
Oh, that Poro stays around, just barely. Can they pick him up? I don't know about this one. He's exploded.
Quit on me.
Yes, yes.
I'm okay.
Snipes him with a mantra Q. Amazing over the wall. Throws the lamps for spite. Meteos is in the middle. Double lift is down. And there will be no tiebreaker at All-Stars 2015.